Welcome to Akhand Vidyashram, the first institute of impeccable wisdom. Let's discuss about Aditya, the sun, the seventh divine soul. My superconscious statement is whenever in doubt, I watch cosmos, the universe, Brahmand. Why? I see an omnipotent, omniscient, omnipresent, perfect divine design of nature in the cosmos only. And that is what makes me feel all the answer to my questions can come from universe alone. Let me talk about something very specific over a period now, an integration of seven divine souls. I am sure many people must be wondering what is seven divine souls are. The core of Dhruv, the pole star, is the highest thing which has seen in nature, followed by Marines for generations. Second thing which has been leading the world is Aditya, the central sun, which is the presiding deity of the human whole earth itself, or rather the whole solar system. Then come to the core ground of Bharat, which is emerging land, which is pure and divine in every way. And I, being the resident of Akhand Bharat, and what I've experienced is what I'm trying to talk about through experiential, subjective, objective things of my life. Now, in this particular thing, I have always been of this. Saptarishis were considered to be seven sages, and many people have given names of different sages as the names, and I would not get into that particular thing. In this particular picture, I can see Lord Brahma sitting on a lotus and instructing seven sages. And when I think of seven sages, I know every aspect of nature, whether it's earth, antariksh, heaven, cell membrane, cell cytoplasm, or cell nucleus, or for all the vital things center around seven only. The message is each head represents seven aspects and three heads represent 21. This is one concept of Divyank. And there's a fourth head which represents 1/7. In other words, pi is the divine design of nature which the entire universe centers around. And this is what I see in this particular picture. Now comes to question of a graphic scientific proof of the ancient Indian sages and the modern scientists of the world today. This particular thing you can see Saptarishis and been related with seven consonants. And in this particular picture you can see three are independent and four are interconnected inside, 3 and 4. What do they represent is what I am going to talk about. And my particular conviction with which I am talking about is from my experiences, not of something which is copy of any book or any scripture or anything in the world. I have experienced these seven divine lessons by being instructed by the voice of silence of my Antaratma, Aditi, to go around in a place standing within 2 feet by 2 feet state, without moving from there, go around at least 252 times. And I went around more than 268 times, and then I said enough is enough. But in the process, from ground right up to pole star and beyond, I experienced oneness with that. And that experience has brought me to Divyank and further, which I am trying to explain. Now comes the question of Atma. And I know one thing, when I talk of divine soul, the primordial divine souls are Antaratma or Atma by and large. And Sanatana Dharma says the Atma cannot be cut, burned, dissolved. It is eternal. It always means everything is come out of Atma, is sustained by Atma, will go back to Atma. This is the greatest statement Sanatana Dharma. And I see the same thing in inert gases, the noble gases. Helium, neon, argon, krypton, xenon and astatine. These are the 6 of them have taught me, and 7th of course is hydrogen or Aditya, the sun. Now come to the first essence of the first 3 divine souls, which are independent, which have been described by Sanatana Dharma, so will also repeated by other things. Let's take them one by one. The first thing which comes to my mind is Nirakar Nirgun Brahman. Nirakar means formless, without qualities, and is the purest of pure lot, is the first thing which comes to my mind of the Brahman, which is universal consciousness. And I relate with that with astatine, which has the power of 72 electrons, 108 neutrons and 72 protons. This is where example of 108 starts appearing from the very beginning itself. Then Nirankar, I see the formulas, you can see the outside dark and nothing is precise as such. It is the universal throughout, and leave it at that. The second is Sakar Sargun Brahman. That means it has got a form, manifested, omnipresent, omniscient, omnipresent universal divine soul, and I relate with that xenon. And xenon has got 54 electrons, 54 protons and 54 neutrons. 54 plus 54 is again 108. 108 is something which is very divine in the beginning itself. And then when I think of Sakar, the first thing which appears in the universe as a manifested is Dhruva, the core pole star. And you can see the picture standing out. It was used by the Marines for generations to find location where to go around on the earth. The third is Anubhav, the experience which I talked about it. I create that with the krypton, the third divine soul, and it has got 36 electrons, 36 protons and 36 neutrons. Incidentally, 36 plus 36 plus 36 is again 108. It cannot be accidental, it is not a coincidence, it's a divine design which I have realized 108 is important, and that is what Sanatana Dharma always said. All the mantras should be chanted for 108 times. Now in this particular picture you can see the darkness, which is a formless. You can see Dhruv, the pole star, and you can 7 see. These are the 3 things which I have experienced and as a result 7 constellations of the universe right up to that is something which is difficult for anybody and everybody to experience, but I have done that. Having done that, I am explaining the concepts which were not at all explained earlier. Now come to the question, 4 divine states from which things have found to be easier for people to understand. The fourth one which comes to my mind is Adi Prashakti, the inert matter, organ 40. When come to the organ 40, there is always been talked about the descent of Adi Prashakti from the universe for the creation of the universe. Only after that you can see she is coming down from the universal consciousness from the first 3 to 1 at this particular stage, and you can see the world, other people just welcoming her coming to earth to see things as they are. And this is where the Brahmand comes up. And I talk about Brahmand was created after that. That means higher universe plus solar system, which is Brahmand, then human being, which are Pindant. And that we will go slowly. But Brahmand is something talked about. In the next series, maybe another 2 ones, I'll be talking about Akhand Brahmand, which I have experienced, which I have been talking about, but I'll show in my autobiography how I experienced that over a period, one by one, in the next video series. Now the 4 divines are organ 47. It has a power of 18, 70, 108, 72, 54, 36 and 18. You can see the same number which centers around 9 itself. She is the divine mother, and she is the one from which Dattatreya came, and Dattatreya is Brahma, Vishnu, Shiva, or for that matter Durga is also with 18 arms. and males and females, all the purity at this level are with the power of 18 only. And this is what I'm trying to show through periodic table, that there are only 18 groups which have been described, 7 periods and divine souls as such. We'll move on to the next stage. Now there comes to the question of the statement which Sanatana Dharma makes it and Akhand Sutra also makes it. There was darkness before the creation is well defined. Even other religions talk about the first thing which was created was light. And here comes the question of light. How argon 40 with 18 protons, 18 electrons and 22 neutrons gave birth to neon 21, which you are going to see in next few slides. The result is when they are charged only there is light, otherwise there is no light. In ionic form there is light. Water brings that, and maybe that's the reason sodium by itself is very electrogenic. Second is potassium, and water is always very powerful. And this is where the science discoveries and ancient wisdom as a spiritual science will be able to understand things and experience that within the human body itself. Human body is a macrocosmic representation, microcosmic representation within ourselves. Brahmand and Pindandam become one, and that is what we realize the beauty of universe within us, and we are the Virat Root in that particular concept. Now come to the fifth divine soul is goddess Gayatri, inert matter and neon 21. Now from 108, 72, 54, 36, 18 we come to the neon 21 which has a 11. Now Rigved says before there was darkness there was inertia and even gods do not know, and that statement and I have already made. But to go further, Maharishi Yajnavalkya talks about an ill statement in Brihad. It was not a dead inert matter or darkness. Whatever was there in space was in a dead matter or mrityu form, which is very clear in this. So he has made a dark matter to a subject which is a dead state. I mean, it's not moving around. I think the greatest statement is. To take it further, I have gone further. It is not darkness alone. It is not only mrityu. Actually, it is neon 21 isomers. And isomers by them are moving around it itself. But when they are not colliding with each other, there is a darkness. But when they collide, they lead to the formation of isomers of neon 22. With that was the light, and that was enlightenment, and from there came Akash Bhuta, all the 5 elements plus higher 5 elements, and everything appeared thereafter. Now comes the question of neon 21 with the 10 protons plus 11 neutrons. This is where I am showing the spiral galaxies has 10 plus 3, 4, 4, 1, 9 dimensions, not 11. And how it is formed in this. But as you can see the picture of goddess Gayatri, it's very interesting. She is sitting on a lotus flower, and I make it very clear this lotus flower has got 43 petals, and very clear 43, out of which there is a combination of 21 plus 22. The other concept of 22 by 21 is there in the lotus flower, which is the first stage of creation itself. When you see the arms, there are only 10 arms with the 10 instruments that show there are 10 stages of development in the formation of anything. First stage of creation is 22 by 21, 10 stages of development, and come to that is Vishnu's Dasavatar. When come to the third stage, the 5 heads are Panchbhutas, and that is what 0.34419 is all about. This is the third thing create, and that is what Divyank is all about. So mathematics which is there in the picture, which universe has used, starts from here in a very precision. So neon 21 isomers came from the fission of argon 40 itself, and then further. Now comes to the question of a dark matter. All these inert matters are like a cubical structure, everything centered in that. All the electrons are towards the center, protons in the center, neutrons in the center, there is nothing outside. So when they are not in action, they will not produce light outside. Only when they collide and electrons moving out, that's where the whole thing comes up. Maybe that is why sodium by itself, or chloride by itself, or potassium by itself is not very enlightening. But when the movement of electrons in water takes place, sodium becomes, instead of 11, into 10, and chloride from 17 to 18, and they become the inert matter, an ionic form. That is why they become light or enlightening by and large. I think that is where science and spirituality is showing you can experience that with just amount of water, sodium, potassium, and other elements within the body in a perfect thing. You can have a perfect homeostatic state, and that is what I have experienced. And just with elements alone, which Rigveda talks about it, Aitri Upanishad talks about it, I have made myself perfectly healthy, wealthy, wise, and happy. And that is what I am sharing, so that there is a preventive medicines hereafter. Instead of taking medicine to live, we should never fall sick and be in tune with universal consciousness 24/7 as long as we want to live, and that has been explained many, many times. And only the spiritual scientist people can do wonders. Others I have to can also learn from them what I am trying to share for the benefit of the world, so there can be world peace by and large with perfect education, enlightenment, and empowerment. Now during the creation, as I told you, isomers 21 plus 21 got together with Big Bang, and that gave the neon 21 with that light, and when the time all the Panchabhutas came up, and then the universe is all about. Now comes to the sixth stage, is the goddess Aditi and inert matter helium-4. And it is written in Rig Veda, Daksha is the king of gods. He is shown with the good, but it is also shown his mother is Aditi and his daughter is Aditi. This statement has never been explained by anybody other than me to show that helium-4 is Aditi and Daksha is Surya, and Surya's mother is Aditi, and Surya's daughter is Aditi, which I am going to explain as I move on. Same thing is now talked about Rishi Kashyap and his family. Kashmir is named after Kashyap, where I was born, and it said that he was married to 13 daughters of King Daksha, and out of these 6 wives represent the reptilian brain. As you can see, the left side of him is a Deity, and all the children are Rakshasas, and they represent lower consciousness as such. And I'm not saying demons are bad, they are very perfect people. As a matter of fact, I believe reptilians are perfect to predict about. They have a system which automatically works. And Sat Chakra Nirupana talks of only 6 reptilian things, not 7 or anything other than that. And once that is done, you can have a perfect homeostasis like reptiles itself. So I do not condemn them. They have taught me how to be a perfectly healthy person by thinking of your own self completely. And self-realization means self-sufficiency, self-centered, and perfection in every stage. So Rakshasas or demons are a very enlightening people. On the other side, you see Diti, and all the 7 are second chakras, higher chakras, represent the goodness of higher knowledge. These people give you the basic knowledge, these people give you the higher knowledge of the universe. And both the things need to be seen. One is giving what scientists are trying to do, another is again what spiritual are doing. Once both become one, only then you can move on to the higher level of consciousness. This is the beauty of this particular picture. So as a result, I can understand both to be required to be a perfect, to understand the entire universe in completely. Sectarian thing has no wisdom at all. Now come to the divine message. As I told you, children of Aditi are devas, they are good people, they are perfect people, they can be the universal consciousness. Children of Aditi are asuras, the people who are not following the imperfect. Imperfect does not mean they are bad. They don't give you the full knowledge. Even gods do not know. They have to have both together, and that is what I am trying to understand. and the voice of silence within me who has taught me all this is Aditi only. Both Diti and Aditi are within me, and I know their balance is required to use them effectively to lead to a perfectly healthy, wealthy, wise, and happy life. Both are them important, and that's what I make it clear. Now come to the same. Vedas say Daksha's mother is this. Upanishad say Aditya's mother and daughter is this. And there are two protons, two electrons, and two neutrons as such in helium-4. This is human say Antaratma Kundalini Aditi as such is this. And this is a statement which has made me to come to this level of consciousness. Now Aditi and Aditya Sun is a hydrogen, Aditi is helium-4. They are formed in the core of the sun, and modern science is very clear. There is 6,000 degree temperature inside the sun. When hydrogen is converted into helium and helium is converted into hydrogen, cycle goes on, which was seen in the beginning. Whereas human temperature is that. As a result, Antaratma, the Atma, are these divine souls, will always remain the same thing. They will never change, because to reach that level of temperature, you have to be very, very high, which does not happen in human bodies, does not happen around the earth. So, Atma always remains eternal. Now come to seventh plague which I am talking about is Aditya, the sun, the presiding deity of the solar system. Now come to question. There is statement in Chandogya Upanishad, Adityo Brahmate Adesha. That means sun is the Sakar Brahman. This is the teaching. And I do agree. For me, the greatest lessons I've learnt is from sun only. Is a person is great in Karma Yoga, great in Dhyan Yoga, great in Vigyan Yoga, great in Pragyan Yoga, great in Akhandata. Only teacher which had taught me as such from the external world perfection to the core with a consistency unseen in anything else is Surya only. So the seventh level Surya will teach you what to do and what not to do. Anyone who follows Surya and Aditi will be a perfect human being with the knowledge. Anyone who is not doing will not have the kind of perfection of Divyank which I am talking about. Now there comes the question, first greatest element is hydrogen and greatest element in the universe is again hydrogen only, and other things we'll talk about later. The second greatest element is helium. Aditi and human soul as such are together in the combination. This is the second large abundant in the universe, and that's it. Now comes the question of experience of proton and proton nuclear reaction in the sun. Aditi is the daughter of that. That means there are 4 hydrogen atoms which mix together to form helium. So if father is Aditya, the daughter is Aditi. When the daughter Aditi is from Aditya as such, I can understand. But then hydrogen helium-4 becomes the mother and it divides to produce hydrogen again. As a result, it becomes the mother of Aditya. So I think the statement of Daksha or Aditya of Ved and Upanishads is a perfectly scientifically explained. Thanks to modern science for their work, they have made my job easier, and scientists had predicted the same thousands of years ago. When both put together, I think we see a consistency which has helped me to take science to a higher level of spiritual science and reveal Divyas by and large. And that is going to be seen as my autobiography in the next videos. Now I have seen the sun Aditya has 7 horses is again coming back the same thing. Is the same representation, is beautiful. Now this symbol of 22 and 11 is also there in the sun. A north pole becomes south pole in 11 years and north south pole becomes north in 11 years. This cycle goes on. This 11 plus 11 is 22, and it's not a coincidence, it's a divine design, and that is where Divyank comes up. And you see the impression of Divyank on the sun which is moving again. There is a revolution, an expansion, and evolution in every object, including sun. There is a cycle of 21 and 22 which goes on. I have explained that. So this is where Divya comes up in this particular thing from Surya itself. All that I brought it to this particular concept. We are not going to talk about it. I think we'll talk the next in Hindi, and after that go to my autobiography, how I've experienced something which has never been done by anybody before. You are going to see it in the video third. So thank you very much. I think it's a lovely sharing my experiences with the world so that we can have a consistent education through the world for every student, and is free for everybody. But I cannot change the world. But the people who are interested in understanding concept, these are free, available in YouTube, Quora and other my books, and people who believe in it, hard work, they can become perfect and lead the world with a perfect education, enlightenment. That is my objective, because as of today, education in school, college, university, research, and otherwise is very defective. There is not a perfect divine mathematics which I am talking about. We need a divine physics, divine chemistry, divine medical sciences. I am not talking about other subjects. I am talking about science and spiritual together can change the education system and make us be perfectly healthy, wealthy, wise, and even being. And that is what the objective. With that, I am leaving. Thank you very